The Research and Equity Scholarship Institute is currently working on the Ed Systems project, which is funded by the National Science Foundation and focuses on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM pathways, for students who begin at community colleges and minority-serving institutions. One part of the project that we are very excited about is highlighting the stories of about 50 students who have successfully navigated community college STEM pathways.
In addition to the lack of diversity in STEM, participants expressed a disconnect between their identities and the STEM disciplinary culture at their institutions.
In the science classes, sometimes you feel kind of out of place because there's not a lot of diversity. There's sometimes this big division. There's also this competitive nature.
I sensed immediately that there was this culture of expectation of like how you're supposed to perform and how you're supposed to show up, especially within my field.
STEM and especially engineering was very isolating. I only speak Spanish at home with my parents. One, there's already that disconnect between my household and I guess my public self at school. But then I'm also studying engineering courses like heavy math and physics and chemistry, and so it's like you can't relate that to someone that doesn't know that stuff to begin with. Now go through the barriers of language. I ended up in this box, alienated.
In spite of experiencing a cultural disconnect, participants challenged STEM disciplinary culture by seeking and creating supportive spaces that combine their personal and cultural identities with their STEM education, which then fostered their motivations for impacting their communities through STEM.
I remember seeing this mural of Cesar Chavez and the Chicano legacy, like these little signs that tell you you're here and you belong here, and just keep pushing through. When we have tough times, we always have beans and rice, and it's something that connects me to my roots. But you could come from something like this and make more of it, and that's one thing that I want others to understand.
It's a constant struggle. I'm in the process of, and just trying to see how my skills can be useful for, I don't know, people with less privileges or less access to some of the things that I might have access to. It's hard. I'm still trying to find a way to be open about that interest in my lab that has nothing to do with those social justice type interests, right? So I've been involved with Scientists in Action, which is a group that we formed there. Also, I'm part of this ethnic studies / SIO colectivo. It helps me understand how my actions affect me and people like me.
But I was still very disappointed through my community college and then definitely transferring because it didn't explore the way oppression affects your behaviors, and then maybe whether mental disorders or diseases, how does that affect you when you're experiencing so much trauma and so much threats to violence. That was not present in psychology, which I was craving and looking for. It was really just gloss over this idea of race. What does that mean, instead of racism. I want to know how it impacts people. That was not ever explored or talked about. And it was the same studies over and over, which were specifically white cis males that were in college, that were upper middle class. So we were bringing faculty of color or therapists or researchers that looked similar to us and that we wanted to connect with, that we weren't necessarily exposed to in our classes from what we were reading.
There was one time when a professor came in and he was like, okay, we just went over the syllabus, but now to get to the real point why we're really here, money. The whole class starts cheering. I'm not just there for money. How about protecting the environment? So do I want all my efforts to go to some engineering firm that's making computer parts? Or do I want my efforts to go to like some indigenous group in Chile who's like trying to keep minors out of their territory? I can use this as a reminder that my efforts with my career have to involve my family and their well-being.
In research, there's this need for profit, this need to find more, to get more, and I really want research not to be something that is cold and straightforward. I want it to be more giving to the community.